All right, let's see if we can't get this working here. I'll move this over to the side over here. Should be able to see all the chats. And right as I do that, the wife calls. 1 second, guys. Hey, I'm streaming. What do you need? All right, love you, bye. All right, well, that's interesting. Let's put up our what we're working on here. And let's see if I can find it. How's it going, Boris? See you over on the Twitch side. Let's transition between the two, and here we are. All right, so what are we working on today? We are working on the Linux automation course that we're putting together, and some people have said that they want to see more of that. I'm going to play a little bit of Brotato because we're just hanging out. The wife is going on a little errand. She's going to be back in about 2 hours or so. So I am going to just hang out a little bit. You guys can do exclamation mark answers, and it'll throw in answers from the, I guess, see if I can make this fit a little better. So if there's any questions or any things you guys want to see, if you guys know how to do that exclamation mark answers, it'll throw the commands into the Linux box. So I got all that. Zorgal, how's it going? I imagine, Zorgal, that you're one of the ones that's testing the testing into the sandbox. I have to imagine that because the reason I imagine that is because I think that's your message that keeps popping up in there. Doesn't bug me, just letting you know. Looks like you're getting some good testing in at least. Or you left something on and forgot about it. And you're triggering something, but I haven't been able to see, like, it doesn't let us know what the actual trigger is. So, yeah, you should check the Sandbox channel. It's been triggering a good portion of the day with the webhook, but I just figured you were doing something with it. So, all right, so that's where we're at. I've got to update all this stuff. I've got to get this stuff all kind of organized. LAN 1, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Thanks for the follow. I'm just playing video games and messing around here. If you guys have never seen Brotato, sometimes Brotato is a fun little way to waste your time. I am trying to finish. This is the last guy that I have to finish it with. He's called the Dwarf. He's kind of an okay character, but if you guys have questions about Linux or want to talk about any of that stuff, I do have to fix the home lab still, so that's something I might be working on tonight here too. I got in on it the other day with the werewolf a little bit, and I was looking at why the image isn't booting anymore, so now I gotta dig in on that and decide if I need to go to a whole new image or, you know, what the problem is. There's also a pretty strong deprecation warning about the version of the kernel, well, not the version of the kernel, the version of the hardware that I'm using. So that's also possibly a thing that I got to deal with in the environment. So let's take armor. We'll take harvesting just because we have a unit that makes the harvesting kind of pretty useful. And let's see what else we get here. We might want the high regen, but we're going to go ahead and give it a shot at, what's that called? The corrupting, or what's this called? Cursing. That's what it's called in this game. Land said you're trying to get enough progress done on 2 major projects by tonight's deadlines. All right, well, that happens. That's a thing that's real. Hopefully there's nothing that, nothing out there that stops you too much. Zorgal played with that server today, set up syslog, telegraph, influx to Grafana. Yeah, Zorgal, if you don't mind me showing, it was this down here. It just kept popping up throughout the day, so I just figured stuff was going on. And it said, "Welp, Zorg left the gate open," but I wasn't sure what was going on with it. So, hey, as long as you're getting whatever alerting you need out of it, that's good practice. Good to understand what's going on and seeing your alerting and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Oh, Trevor's on, and also Abdo over on the YouTube side. And how's it going, guys? We're not working super hard today. I've got, I don't know, not too much of a plan going on. I've been working a lot, so I'm just kind of decompressing here. So I'm really more playing video games. I had this other game that I was watching today that I thought would be kind of fun to play, but I was like, I don't know if I want to play that on stream. It's called The King is Watching. It's a pretty fun little strategy game that's like a resource builder, and I thought it looked kind of fun, but I probably won't play anything new just because I got to get focused on putting this course together for the Ansible stuff that we're going to be doing. Well, I say Ansible because that's mostly what I want to focus on, but a couple of the other guys have told me that they'll, once I get the skeleton sorted out, they will write it up in either Bash or Python for some of our projects. So some of our all of our projects will have the option of looking at them through different tooling, right? And now I could probably write a lot of the stuff up in Bash and Python myself, but that's not what I do professionally. So I'm just going to let the guys that actually do that stuff professionally do that, and then I'll just focus on like what the 16-week course is going to look like here. This is obviously the security one, but I've got to start putting together the major instructional areas, and then lay out all the course, and then like basically outlining everything, which is kind of a thing that I do relatively well as an engineer. Something that's gone relatively well in my career. All right, let's see who we got. This boss is very beatable. You just kind of stay close to this guy, and he doesn't hurt you. But then, about halfway through his life, when he does what's called a mutation, he will start doing this other thing where he starts using a different. Oh, come on, he starts using a different pattern here. Oh, come on, we gotta hurt him more. There we go. Now he's on a different pattern, so I'm just going to lead him through my little gamut of towers here. Just let the towers beat him up a little bit. And then he's going to change one more time. This guy has 3 different modes. He's about to change to his 3rd mode right here. So, and that will be, see these little bullets? So it was artillery the first 2 times, and then now it's much more direct. But we only have 10 more seconds to kill him if we want to get his goodies, so I need to get him back over here by my guys, so that maybe we can take his life. Nope, we didn't get him. That's unfortunate. Enzo Bear, how's it going? How did your interview go, or are you guys doing that next week? I know you guys are meeting up this weekend, but I didn't know if you had done your official interview yet, or if that was coming up. All right. We're meeting up. So you guys are meeting up this weekend, then next week you're doing the interview. Is that right? Mine is next week. Okay, good. That's nice. All right. So the goal on this guy, I've always kind of played this guy aggressively, but this round of trying to beat him, I'm going to play much more passively. So you guys are going to see me running away from stuff a lot more than I normally do. So if anybody cares, but that's good, Enzo. It's good that you're going through the process, moving on up. These guys that are kind of far away, they like to charge in on you, so you just got to kind of keep an eye on them and move away from them. Most of my damage right now is coming from the turrets on the ground. This guy's an engineer, so he doesn't do a lot of... he's actually a dwarf, sorry, but he does engineering as his main focus. So you can play this guy a different way, but engineering just seems the best way to try to beat this character. So we're gonna go ahead and take this, because even though it limits me to how fast my slowest weapons, or my weapons can never go faster than a certain thing here, but that's okay, because this guy's got a really slow swing speed anyway, so we take that. Let's say our items can crit. Take all this. Let's see if we can hopefully get something better. All right. And Hector, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I appreciate the bits. We're, again, not working super hard today. We're just kind of hanging out. Yeah, and so I think that's going to be good. I think you guys are going to like Sending Ground's kind of take on that stuff, and kind of how he, thinks of interviews. I've heard him talk through that before, so that'll be kind of good. And I'm glad you guys are getting some time, because I think a few of you have interviews, right? By the way, for people that don't know what that is, there's an event coming up. We got a lot of events coming up in our Discord, right? A whole lot of events coming up. But the one this weekend is, there's a Bash study group, and then also Sending Grounds is going to come and do interview prep mock for people. So people that need to get in there and see, what roles look like. He's specifically doing it for, does he say right here? Big tech, right? Working in big tech, because that's where him and some of the other guys are, and he's going to give some insight to that. That's not going to be recorded. That's not going to be streamed. That's just the guys down in the Discord. So you guys are, as many people as want to go hang out and do that, you're welcome to do that, right? He doesn't charge you nothing for it. He's just going to help you out with that. If any of you guys ever want to drop anything in the Discord, like a cleaned up resume or you want us to look at it, we always do that too. The Linux sysadmin course, this will be the last week of it this week. Yeah, because we just did 15, right? Yeah, so we'll be doing the last week this Saturday, and then we'll be closing up the course. And then just because, for people to know, there's admin study groups. There's all kinds of study groups throughout the week that you guys can join. But then our big conference is next weekend. I can't believe that's already coming up. We got a lot of guest speakers coming. I'm going to talk about engineering like I always do, like why we do engineering and why we do the things we do. Timodius is going to come and talk about data analytics. He's works for a big insurance agency. He's got a master's degree in data analytics. He's my brother too, by the way, if anybody cares. He also, let's see, he was also in Afghanistan. So he did Afghanistan. I did Iraq. He did Afghanistan. So boom. Security topics. This is going to be one of our guys that's in the military. He's actually still active as an officer. He's going to come talk to you guys about that. Salty Catfish, I need to get a hold of him, but he's going to do pro framing. I don't think he meant programming. He does programming, but he's a lead software engineer, ham radio, all that stuff. Anyways, my point is lots of events. Go check the events if you guys want to do any of that stuff. That stuff's all free. I expect a pretty good amount of people to be here next week. This weekend, interviews, that's a good thing to go listen to if you're trying to get in the industry. I think Sending Ground's pretty good. He used to stream a little bit, but he's been super busy. So he hasn't been able to do that. Why is this thing? Hold on. Super annoying. All right, there we go. We're gonna try to get this going while I'm talking to you guys. I don't know. I do got to fix the home lab too, though. But we can. I might do that. That might be a tomorrow night project. While we were talking on Saturday night, we had, I don't know, we probably had like 20 people in the Discord. We were hanging out after the meeting, and I just updated the werewolf with no other preparation involved. And since then, the images have not been booting properly, so I got to do a little more work on them to get them back working. So that's my little cross to bear here. So that's I'll work on that. Okay. Level gets super annoying, but for the most part, those guys are getting cleaned out all right. We have pretty good regen too, so as long as I don't take too many rounds all at once. Robodom's here. How's it going, Don't Robodom? We were just talking about how we're not working super hard today, and mostly we're just playing a little Brotato. People can do answers. Like if we were doing like the Socratic method or something and we were asking questions, you guys could be like sending in answers. By the way, if you guys don't know, the Socratic method is over here. I were to pull this up real quick and go to LAC. I think it's LAC for the Linux admin course. This is our free course that the guys put together that nice book for. And at the very bottom of it, they put in and added in the Socratic stuff. So if you guys aren't familiar with Socratic Linux, the Socratic method is a way of talking. A lot of times they use it in dialogue type practices. So like a lot of lawyers learn through the Socratic method. Like the professor will just be like, well, why do you believe that? And how did you come to that conclusion? And can you empirically show the logic that you, right? It's like these kind of things. Well, it's not to trick us. It's not to show people that you're smarter than them or anything. It's just to think through, hey, if I'm doing Linux, can I list the number of CPUs out, right? And then something like this might warrant if I come over here on the chat side and say, hold on a second here. Yeah, Robodom, I'm really working very hard. And I say something like answer, I don't know, nproc, right? nproc will come to the screen there. It went to both sides there. And then it says that I sent in the answers from Twitch and YouTube, and the answer was nproc, right? And then that went, and both of those ran on Rocky 9, and it gave me an answer back, right? So then we could ask ourselves these questions. Oh, and we got a whole bunch of them. Like we've been doing a bunch of these, and I've got a whole bunch more. But they're not to trick you. They're just to make you think. Like, do I know how to do this thing? LSCPU, nproc, catproc, CPU info, grep-iproc. That's the way I used to do it. That's before I knew about nproc. But that's the way that I used to go get the number of processors, right? And this one was fun. This was one that was given before Python 3-C import multiprocessor as MP print mp.cpu count. that does give you the right number of CPUs and that kind of stuff. So anyways, my point is a bunch of different ways to do it, right? And a bunch of different things to play with. And the page is here if anybody wants it. I'll link this to you guys. But that's in our free book, right? The guys put together this awesome little book that shows you how to do Linux administration, right, from our normal course. But you get down to the back of it, and it's all just things that you should kind of know how to do. And I got more to add. Oh, excuse me, I got more to add to that, but we'll do that later. That's not a today thing. All right, what do we have here? These are all pretty useful. I don't know if this seashell thing will work on my turrets, but we're gonna buy it anyways and see. So our goal again is just to run away and stay alive. It's gonna be our goal for the whole thing, all the way up through level 20 on this guy. So just run away and stay alive. We'll let the game just kind of play itself. These enemies, oh man. Because my guy's attack speed is too low for me to really get in there and do anything else useful. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Alright. Alright. By the way, every time he kills more than 6 people with a single melee attack, he gets another engineering, which happened like 30 times right there. We'll take coral, take glasses, take armor. Man, these things did not do what I wanted them to do. All right. Chris, stoked for the automation course. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I have a lot to clean up on it still. So where's the automation course? It's over here. Yeah, I have to put together all my major instructional areas. One of the things I sometimes do with these is I'll move them down and I'll leave the ones that are there just so I can start putting this in here. And then maybe so as a general thing, I think I put it down here. If I have not put it down here, I definitely want to start calling it out in our course syllabus. Just the kind of methodology that we're going to start using. This comes from a methodology I used at a college that doesn't exist anymore. If any of you guys ever heard of ITT Tech, they had a pretty good little setup, but they went under in 2015 or so. They got hammered pretty hard. But where's the, hold on, I think it's under my academic topics. Yeah. And this is a thing that they kind of used as an idea, and this is something that I'm going to kind of use going forward, which is kind of a competency acquisition path. I'm also going to add this in as like a, see if I can go grab this image, copy the image. I kind of want to add this image to the way that we learn things. So one of my other, let me see, prologue presentations. I'm going to add it to our talk on selling. So this is one of my favorite little talks to show you guys. Not this one, different one. Yeah, this one, which is excelling in the engineering field after college, right? Or for anyone. And typically right in here, learning how you learn, we might duplicate this slide. And then on this version of the slide, take all this off. Oh, that didn't work. Where's that other thing? Yeah, hold on. Boom. Copy image. Huh. We want the image. There we go. And this might be, you know, the way that we talk through it. And then I'll add that in on that conversation so that when we get to that part, I'll say that this is a big part of like skill acquisition and how we learn something, right? So first we explore it, so it's facilitate student discovery, learning activities, and prior knowledge and building connections. So concepts, a lot of times we start with concepts. Oh, Robdom, you said you've become stagnant? Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. Just kind of get back to it, man. Like, here's the thing, Robodom, right? Especially when you've got work, right? Just keep showing up when you can, right? Like, we don't take attendance around here. But Robodom is one of my right hand men, though. He's kind of one of the guys who does a lot of our admin stuff, and he tells you guys about the group and stuff, which is awesome. But yeah, Robodom. I mean, we don't, you got to get to it when you can, man. You can't just drink the whole fire hose all at once and look at me like I know Linux, right? It's not Neo. It takes time, right? This stuff, and I think the more you force yourself to have to do it, and the more you were like trying to get into the field, that would be good. But we're not gonna hold it to you. The only person I've seen really hammer you, Robodom, is when Fisherman was like, "When are you gonna go fucking take your test?" I remember that. That was pretty funny. But like sometimes you need a kick, right? Sometimes you need to just go, I'm ready, right? Like there's no more prep to do. I'm as ready as I can be for these things. So, but anyway, so it'll be explore, practice, apply. This is going to be kind of my methodology to how you get competency in anything, right? And explore will be the same kind of things that I normally show you guys. It'll be like the terminology, the way that we talk about a thing, and the individual components, and then we practice engaging new concepts and putting them into individual like labs and that kind of stuff, and then we apply them to like real world type scenarios where they become kind of, it's almost like this is when it becomes yours, right? Like you're not just hearing me talk about pushing data over and pulling data over in an environment. You've now done it. You've now understand why you would do it as an admin or an engineer, or fucking as somebody just needs to pull information out of a system. You understand like the component pieces of like what you need to do that if you need to set it up from scratch. You understand the individual practices and components of it, and then you get to apply it to real world scenarios. So I think that's a great EPA, explore, practice, apply. I mean, probably won't call it EPA because EPA's already got its own thing, but that's something that we're going to be working into some of our stuff. So as I'm doing each of these, if I were to talk about automation tools, right? Like if that's the first one, and then the next one is like automation mindset, right? Because that's a thing that we kind of talk about, cultivating an automation mindset. You already know how to do things. You know how to play in Linux and push files around and pull files and maybe live in an environment, but now you want that to happen automatically. Like whatever was happening earlier inside of Zorgel's environment here, that was sending a bunch of stuff into the sandbox. He had determined, I want something to happen, and then I need to alert outside of this closed system. The closed system can be one individual computer. It can be a whole set of computers that are what we call an autonomous system, which are all the systems under one person's or one like authorityship, right? It's kind of a networking term. Like an autonomous system is all the networking systems that I control, but it's the same thing in systems admin, right? All the things that I control, and then that dark spot. You don't go over to that dark spot over there, right? That's the old. If you don't get that joke, I can't help you. All right, I can't help you get that one. You either know that one or you don't. All right, so let's run around. So these enemies are 25% faster this time because that's one of the items I took that gave them speed. But in that trade-off for speed, I got more damage, so it was worth it. Also, looks like I'm getting potential spam calls right now, so we'll ignore all that garbage, all that noise. And we will play video games and hang out on the interwebs. Yeah, see how much faster these guys are? They even seem faster than when we started the level. But that's the effects of that. One of the items I took gave me more speed and more regen, I think, and more melee damage. So it was worth it. But for this one level, everybody moves faster. That's a little bit of a problem. All right, it's not too bad. Nice. Is that what that is, Zorgel? Well, by the way, guys, the message meant something to him, which is all that mattered, right? And if he were sitting around with like Discord or Slack, we use Slack sometimes we use Teams. I think you should be able, once you can get a basic message to send to any one tool, you can send it to any of the other ones. It's not in anything else inside of the tooling than just to go point it at a different Discord webhook or Slack or Teams or whatever tooling you're using. There's different ways to do it, but yeah, it's super. I think you could probably even if you really wanted to do like a managed services for Kafka, send it up into your cloud, maybe even like an event bus. So you could, or event bridge inside of AWS, you could probably send those messages anywhere if you really wanted to. So yeah, I think that's really awesome though that you found, a reason to do that. And then I like that it's been persistent, so it's still in your lab somewhere. All right, we want speed, take more harvesting, and we do want a laser turret. We're on a boss wave, so we need to stay away from that boss. And stay alive. Take that. Slow them all down. And this one's nice. +2 engineering for every elemental, so we'll get some elemental stuff going. And then we will buy some more wrenches and get our wrenches leveled up. All right, gotta stay away from this guy. Who do we got? We got one of the more reasonable bosses. This guy is just gonna shoot these at us. Normally I circle around him. So, jeez. My guy is not fast enough right now, though. So we're just going to circle around him. Try to stay alive. Try to keep grabbing the items up off the floor that heal us every chance we get. And you might say, well, you're not really hitting him much. No, I'm actually letting my little turrets on the ground do all the hitting of him. All right, he's in his last stage, so I'm going to stay away from him. And I'm going to kind of drag him through all of these little things on the ground here. See, so my little guys are burning him and shooting him with lasers, if you guys can't see that. All right, so, yep. And I'm just staying away from him and letting him basically die in the gauntlet, if you will, of all my turrets. And maybe we'll hit him a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, I mostly let the turrets do all the damage on that guy. Because I didn't really want to get killed by a boss when I'm trying to beat this damn game. All right. What else we got? Oh, yeah, this is why I want to automate stuff. Yeah. I think automation's a big part of like everything we do. We'll take dodge and lifesteal, that's huge. And then we'll take a bunch of crit, that's fine. And we will level up all of these things. We'll get more damage and more, that's more regen for us. We'll slow guys down, that's good. We'll take a better wrench. We don't want the ghost because that'll kill us. It'll put us at 1 hit point and then we'll die immediately from our little thing that damages us, so that's no good. And we don't really need anything else. But yeah, the little frozen heart is good because it'll give us more elemental damage, which will shoot up our engineering damage right here. So that's huge. And then engineering is where we actually get our damage from, if anybody cares. And then we only got 3 more levels, 2 levels to the boss, to the final bosses. So I've just been meaning to finish all these characters off in this game, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. So that's what we're doing right now. That and talking a little bit of system stuff. Those little guys have like backpacks on, and they always have treasure in them, so you always got to kill them. There should be another one on this level too. There he is. There he is. He's dead. Yeah, those little guys that shoot the red lines, I'm not even going to fight them. I'm just going to run away from them, let them die. Good way to do it. We'll take Bean Teacher. Take that. We'll take a little more movement speed so we're faster. And then let's see if we can get some... We kind of want to see if some of this stuff will curse. Because if it curses, it's even better items. So we'll give those all around to curse if they will. Let's see if we can win this real quick. Let's make sure I'm not missing any chat messages there. right, so we're gonna try to make it through this wave. Nothing too exciting's happening on here. No bosses or anything. Really, just stay out of those guys' charge paths, which it's like they let you know when they're gonna charge. They stop moving for a second, like a toddler. Like when a toddler poops, and I don't know if any of you guys are parents, but you know when your toddler's pooping, they just stop doing whatever else they're doing. So it's the same kind of thing. Robodom said, "Do I have any recommendations on the sysadmin course before doing the automate?" No, I don't think you need to do the sysadmin course. I think it would be good for people that aren't sysadmins yet, or people that aren't working in the field. It would probably be good to at least know those high level things. But no, I don't. I mean, I don't think you need them. No. I might put together, you know what might be kind of a good thing, Robodom? I might put together like a little, like, let's call it like a primer course of all of this. And it might just be like, I don't know. It might just be like IT operations might be what I call it. And it'll just be like all of the things that we do, like how you get the job. That would be kind of useful. I think people would like the interview stuff. But I'm more focused on the day-to-day. So I would say like, showing people like all the types of meetings you're going to have, all the types of management you're going to run into, and what they're going to expect of you. Because I think a lot of people probably get a little intimidated by that. Like, what is your first like week on the job? What is your first month on the job? What should you be doing? Trying to get that going. And as Ginger said, my son goes to the corner. Yeah, like kids have a very distinct thing they do where they just like, I'm pooping. Like that's just, I mean, that's a thing for toddlers for sure. Take less attack speed, fine. We'll take range, take the focus, that's good. We'll take more hit points so we don't die right away, and we'll take more melee damage. And we'll take this because we'll have 28% less health, but we get 17 more regen. So we're going to get massive regen, which hopefully keeps us just from getting killed by the bosses. Let's go to combining all that. Let's get that on the ground so we have more stuff. All right, so the thing about the bosses here are, there's going to be two of them. You always have two of them when you play this on the hardest mode. And one of them is just going to shoot mortars. And when I say mortars, there's just going to be red spots on the ground letting me know that they're coming down. And then the other one's going to be kind of like one of those little turrets from Mario Brothers, if you remember the little spinning fire. So basically what I do is I just round them up in the middle and I run around them. The mortars will always be falling behind me, hopefully. And the little spinning thing will always be spinning behind me. Anything else I do on this level, I need to continue to spin around these guys. Anything else basically gets you killed on them. So that's going to be the strategy here. See if it all just falls to shit or if it actually works. So, all right, so here's the bosses. He's rotating this way. So we're going to rotate around the same way as that. We do want to bring them over here by our attacks so that they're near over here. They'll generally follow me, right? And I want to get them in here so that they start getting hit by my turrets, right? So they're going to start getting injured by my turrets. I'm running in circles around them, right? That guy that's shooting mortars, he's about to run away, and his mortar pattern's about to change to just being around me. See that? So now he's going to be running around the map. This other guy, we can get in there. We can hurt him too if we want. But for the most part, I'm actually just going to stay away from him and let the gauntlet over there kill him. All right, all of my guys. Yeah, we can. I mean, we do a fair amount of damage. I just didn't want to be, when you're dealing with the two bosses, it's not worth it. So I've technically won the game right now, but now we're going to go into the advanced levels, and I like to see how far we can take a character sometimes. But we have technically won right now. Like if I were to die, it would just say run 1 instead of run lost, because we've beaten the two bosses. So the only reason the level's not over is because normally when you kill the two bosses, that's the end of the game. But I have chosen to go into the later rounds, so the game will just keep getting faster and harder, probably until like level. We'd be good to get over level 30 if we could. So yeah, Robodama Brotato course. Yeah, that would be funny. Let's see, damage range. I will take that. Whatever. Take community for the attack speed. We'll take that. Let's take crit and max HP. And none of these things have cursed, huh? All right, we'll go level 21 then. Yeah, so we'll probably do like survey of automation tools. That. Let me see. Um, um, let's do like sub areas for this and say engineering focus, CI CD focus, and let's say so those will be the focuses of that we will find, because there's a distinct difference between how you use automation with, I mean, engineering and CI/CD are the same thing, but I might call that, let's say, systems, because that's the one that I know the best, systems engineering. But we do have to integrate with CI/CD type stuff, which is CI/CD, right? There we go. Yeah. So that'll be like pre everything, like where we use it in each of these things. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right. All right, let's see if we can finish this up. I know I'm all over the place, guys. That's kind of, I guess anybody that's been here for more than a few minutes knows that's probably the case normally. Let's see if we can win around a Brotato and then yeah, we'll do our troubleshooting, which is the last one of our automation course this next week, so that'll be all done, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah, Robdom, I try to make sure that I got stuff working. We're gonna take all this. If it's not gonna curse, we're just gonna take it. We prefer if it curses, but if it's not going to, then we can't force it. We'll see if we can get those curses. All right, now we got two bosses. So this is the hard thing about going into the advanced levels. Now instead of just one boss, you fight two bosses at a time. But very manageable. You just gotta get them into your little gauntlet and get them to die by all your turrets. That's the main thing. This guy, I can beat him up a little bit too. All right, one down right there. Now we just got to beat up the other one. There we go. Not too bad. Once you get enough damage, it's not too hard to beat most of them. All right. Take the fish hook. Don't want the bone dice. Take more engineering. Take more hit points. That cursed. That did not curse. So none of the stuff we really wanted to cursed, but take what we can get. We do need to figure out, I think of some more on that course. So we'll do system building, which will be pre-baking versus personalization. And then build standards and compliance is actually going to come into it, but not there. Hold on, let me think of more. Oops. I know you guys want a networking. Networking configurations. There's going to be system checking and reporting. There's going to be I'm just thinking through the tasks and what's it want to use for pre-baking? Alright, whatever. Network configurations, system checking and reporting, network configs. Just trying to think of what other major areas I would put automation into, right? Like these are the major instructional areas for the course. Software, that could be software and package. So that can be that's kind of your no updating has to come after building but before software deployment because it makes more sense. Networking can go anywhere. Yeah, that's fine. We'll play with that formatting later. This will be our major. So the course objectives for me are always it's a lot like what you would put on a resume. They're the action verbs around the thing that we're doing, right? They don't have to be one-to-one, but they do have to kind of map back to them. So like if you were looking at these versus over here on the course, right? So this is like the Linux course. If you were to go to the course syllabus here, and you were to look at these, for the Linux admin course, the things I had you doing here are very similar to the course objectives here. Like they're not one-to-one, but the course objectives are the things that I think you should be able to put on a resume when you finish the course. And up here are like the major instructional areas that kind of get us there, right? So there's a little bit on automation in this, but this was a 16-week course, but it only had 9 major areas and 9 course objectives. Again, not exactly one-to-one, right? That kind of stuff. All right. Just thinking as I go. We'll take the gnome. Melee damage. Again, nothing cursed, so that's annoying. These things were supposed to curse. All right. But yeah, if you guys got questions about that, or I think we're going to focus on that starting in early September. So I know that's probably a question people have. When are we going to run the automation course? We'll always put the events up in the Discord, so that's always where you can find it. But the basic answer for right now is we're going to start that in September. And then I'm going to try to have that much more ahead than I have been in the other courses, where I was basically writing each thing each week. Instead of doing all that, I'm going to try to have us kind of more caught up. And, then the guys if the guys want to make another book, they can, and it'll be a lot more, I hope we'll be a lot more caught up. So then if people are like, oh yeah, I want to go, not necessarily that you could work ahead, but they could work ahead. The guys who are writing it all, they don't have to feel like they're stuck always like rushing that weekend, like what has been kind of going. All right, so we're gonna see if any of these freaking items curse. Let's see. We have these stupid little fish hooks aren't cursing things. It must have cursed something last time because it doesn't have any pity. But it says with 2 of them there should be a 40% chance that something in here curses. And cursed items are like twice as good as the normal items. So in case anybody's wondering. Zerk, you're down. You're going to do it? I'm hoping people do it. I'm going to try to do it this way where, for the course, and this will be kind of a change of way of us doing things, I'm going to try to do all the automation stuff out in Killer Coda. Now you might say, why would you do that? Well, I want when people follow along later, I want there to always be something. Like I don't want it to be like our other courses where I have to maintain the Rocky and the Hammer servers, and then people have to get access and that kind of stuff. I'd like it to be just kind of standalone, and anybody can do it anytime they want. I'm a real big fan of Killer Coda. I think it's like one of the best sites on the web for people to just get in there and do. Like we could just get in a Linux shell right now, and I could walk everybody around, and we could do all kinds of stuff. And nobody had to install Linux. Nobody had to be on the same flavor as me. People could be sitting in chat and arguing about Arch and fucking Debian and all these other things, but we could all be in the same version of Linux regardless. So every command that I would do would look exactly like your commands. And so I like that. I like that as an aspect of it. I think that would be a good thing to have going. Anyway, so I'm going to try to do that for the automation course. And it's a 2-node environment. So with a 2-node environment, you can do almost all the things that you kind of need to. I've been looking at like another way because guys have been asking for some of these other tools and working on some of these other things. I've been looking at another way of doing a basic little thing up in AWS, right? And we could just deploy things with CloudFormation. The only limitation of that will be people would have to have their own AWS. And that's something I've stayed away from. I don't want people to have to, have AWS to be able to do any of the Linux stuff with us. I've always tried to keep this like as vanilla as possible for everybody. So, yeah, hopefully that wasn't answering anybody's question or anything. But you guys are all welcome to hang out down in the Discord. We have, what do we have? We have almost 4,100 people in there right now. I think it's weird. Like we kind of hover. Like if I'm not streaming, we're losing members typically, but it says, yeah, we're at 4,092. then when I stream, it'll bump up a little bit, and then it'll drop back off, and it's like, what can you do, right? You hang out and you do what you do. All right, let's try to beat 2 bosses again. These ones are a little more challenging, but we should be able to. If we keep them in our gauntlet, we should be able to beat these guys. Oh, a little area over here. This guy looks like he's annoying, but he has a very predictable movement pattern, so he's not that hard when he charges. Alright. This other guy just makes a bunch of his little buddies, and if we can get him over here, he'll just die in all the explosions. Yeah, there we go. Oh, he ran away. Alright, there we go. We can kill him. There we go. Boss is down. Collect all the loot. There we go. Start taking pearls, sure. This guy doesn't really need attack speed, but screw it, we'll take it. Now everything curses after I complain about it. We'll take all the cursed stuff. Cursed stuff makes more cursed enemies appear, but it's still worth it because you're doing more damage with cursed stuff, so. Also, I might have to move this down. There we go. Alright. More screens I have working, the harder my system has to process all this. Which is kind of funny, but... I'm not really taking any damage, so I can kind of hang out a little more in the middle. But we do got to keep killing those guys so we keep getting our little treasure boxes. Take plate, take the baby gecko. I don't want the range damage, but I do want the crit. And screw it, we'll just take those without them cursing. Take that. So everybody's going to have double hit points on this one. So I'm going to have a hard time killing things, but I get way more experience that way. So we take it, even though it makes the level much more of a hassle, because everything has double hit points. But then in every future level, I get 5% more experience gain for the rest of the time I'm playing, so that's pretty good. But as you'll see, things take a lot longer to kill. But we're not doing terrible, as long as we can stay away and not die. Nope, dead. But I still won, so that's fine. Alright, dwarf won it in the crash zone. So now I've finished everybody. I have a couple of characters I still got to finish on level 5, or the hardest level. But I've beaten all the other guys. So, I don't know actually if that gave me anything specific. Where's that guy at? He should be it's called the dwarf. Here. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never had his weapon before because I've never beat it with him before. He gets the warhammer. Interesting. All right. That's good on that. I guess we're fine on that. I'll focus a little more on what's going on stream here now. Where are we at? So let's keep working on this stuff. Here's, if you guys want to send answers in to any of the questions. We're not really doing the Socratic method right now, but I think that's a good start. I always end up adjusting this before we get into the actual course, So this isn't set in stone yet what this looks like, but this will be a good start. And then typically again I just start modeling the instructional areas after, or the course objectives after what we're doing for the instructional areas. So the first one will be, you know, probably maybe install and maybe it's deploy various automation tools for, you know, this first one might be deploy various tools for Yep, so deploy various automation tools. So that assumes that you know what they are and you understand what they're doing. Our automation tools won't be necessarily called out here, but they're going to be Ansible, for sure, Bash, and Python. Those are going to be the main ones. I'm focused on doing this as like an Ansible course, but a few of the guys have said, actually, do I even say Ansible in the name? I don't think I do. No, just automation. But some of the guys who use those other tools more have said that they'll go ahead and write those parts of it up. So I said, all right, well, if you guys will do it, I will just outline the course and I'll focus on the Ansible part. I could do the Bash part too, I guess, but there's people who write much more elegant Bash than me. My Bash scripting is basically just do what I need exactly. I don't focus on being elegant, and I definitely don't write it like code like some of our guys do. So Robodom said, is the tech market still volatile or not in a stable state? I don't know, Robodom. Like, I see, like, I think that there's a lot of, I still think there's a lot of Linux work. I see Linux work all the time. Like, people are constantly like, we need more Linux engineers, and I see a lot of that. So I really don't think Linux engineering is going anywhere, but I don't know. We'll see if this AI revolution that hasn't done anything in the last few years is going to change anything in the next few years. We'll see. Yeah, I think Linux is the way, but also the other things I see a whole lot of, and I'm talking, guys, like I see a whole lot of this out there, is data analytics type stuff, right? Like people that get into data analytics and can understand the basics of that. I think that's huge. Still, security is still huge, but I don't think security is like a basics thing. I've never thought security was a basic, like I don't, it's going to sound weird and people aren't going to like it, but I don't think security should have an entry level tag ever, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Like you're going to hire a guy to do like GRC, and then he's going to come talk to me as like a Linux engineer, and he's not going to have any idea what Linux is, and he's not going to have any idea what a certificate is, and he's not going to have any idea what key rotation is, like not even a little, because he's an entry level person. That doesn't seem right to me. Like that's never seemed right. So like I would think like a lot of times getting in security is coming from other places inside of the world. As far as that goes, I just don't, like I don't think entry level security exists. I think you have to have like some solid foundation in systems and maybe the computer science side of things and maybe the networking side of things. Like so you have to have these other like subclasses before you kind of prestige up into security, I guess, if you want to think of it like that. But anyways, that being said, I think there's a lot of security out there right now, but not necessarily entry-level security. And then what else? I definitely see a lot of data analytics and a lot of security stuff for sure, Robodom. So, yeah, entry-level is an excuse. Sure. I think it also, you know, people say entry-level and then they're asking you for 5 years operations experience, and that's not, those two things don't really jive. You may be entry level into security, but you're not entry level in the industry, right? So, I don't know. I've always had a problem with the way that entry level stuff works, but I don't know. You know, I came in out of the Army. I got into the IT field, and my entry level was like moving computers around for a school district. Like that's how I got into tech, right? Like I already had my CCNA, but I had to go move computers around for a few months, and then after a while doing that, I moved over into doing all the firewalls and all the pen. In fact, I was just looking on my LinkedIn, like what it says for all my past career stuff, and at that school district, which is on my LinkedIn, it says that I think it might say that I moved computers, but then it said I did all the network. So I did all the firewalls. We had 2 firewalls that were real big pipes for us, and then everything else came through our one annex. And then I did all the wireless as well for like 36 different sites. I did all the wireless site surveys and drew all that out and made all the maps of where everything had to go. This was before like the Cisco managers were really out. Nowadays there's like these wireless management tools that you just drop in and all the wireless access points basically configure themselves. But back then I had to do it by hand. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, Rob, I think the market, like I always get asked, like even my college students ask me all the time, like, what do you think's going on with the market? And I'm like, I think it's fine, man. I think you gotta spend some time and you gotta get, yeah, it's still good to get. I think people can get in the industry still. You guys just have to spend time with this stuff, and then the 2 things you got to be able to show a company is, can you do the work and will you do the work, right? I can help you with the can you do the work. You can show that. You go and you do these courses, or you hang out in the group and you figure out what people are working on, and you write up and you update your resume and you get it down to 1 page that just has the technologies and stuff that you work on and how you understand them. And I think that helps you get at least to the job interview. In the interview, I can't help you with that, although I can help you do the interviews. And we have, I mean, some of you guys have been around for this. Like we have literally, I mean, I have hundreds of questions on here. Looking at like Linux admin jobs and stuff. Actually, these were new ones that I was loading up for us to work through. We've got, where's some other ones? Interview questions that I ask when we do our interviews, my technical, my troubleshooting, my operations, and my personality questions. These are all up in the Discord if anybody wants them. But they're like, these are the questions that I ask people when we do like mock interviews and stuff, right? Yeah, so Robodom, I definitely think you can get in there. 20G, you said you thought about the military route but stick to the civilian. Civilian's fine. I only did, guys, I was an infantry guy in the Army, so I didn't do anything technical there. I did my CCNA work at night, right? Like I went to college at night, and I got my CCNA myself. Probably one of the only infantry guys ever that got a CCNA while he was in. And then after Iraq in 03, I got out. I didn't get kicked out. I got out. They tried to keep us in, but I was like, I've been stop lossed. I'm going home. So then, if you guys don't know what a stop loss is, it's when they keep whatever your job is in the military in longer. So they did that to me in 03. And then when I finally did get out, I came home and just started working in the civilian world. And that was kind of nice. So yeah. It was a long time ago. It was 22 years ago now. But yeah, and then I got into engineering and building stuff, and I think I told you guys, like I never loved networking. Like I still teach networking at the college level, right? Like networking's fine, but I don't love networking, guys. I love systems work, like building systems and stuff, and keeping that kind of going. Doing Linux all day, that's kind of my jam. Although I have been having some massive problems in our werewolf environment. So some of you guys know that on Saturday I blew all this stuff up. Here, let's reconnect these. And I have not been able to get our environment to boot properly since. So this was some of our little troubleshooting, or I've been doing this on my own, this troubleshooting. Come on here. It's like Rocky 12, he's down, right? Hard down. And if I come over here, right, like what have I been doing? Just everything with this poor Rocky 12 box. And if you guys don't know, the way that Werewolf works is a node comes up in an environment. By the way, guys, I don't have my normal chair. Like you guys might notice, you don't see my chair behind me anymore. I'm just on one of those little yoga balls, and I think the thing's great. Like I can like bounce around and like it keeps me active, I guess, or something like that. Yeah. Bingo, bango, bongo. Yeah, the Werewolf is upbuild from, it is the old Beowulf clusters. Yeah. No, this is live. No, this is very live. I was doing something, I was rolling around on my chair over here. My little ball. No, this is definitely live. But watch, this thing's not going to boot. It's going to come up. He's going to find out who he is. He's iPixie booting correctly, but I'm having a problem with the drag cut part of it, and the image is the same image, and also I've used a new image, and I've been all over this. I've flipped out the ways that they're changing. I've went to Grub instead of, and it's actually having a problem coming up and switching back to the RAMFS, which is the way that I had it running. So watch, it's going to download the image. It's going to do all the things. Over here, though, Werewolf Werewolf no longer has, and I actually really dislike this. They no longer have all of their logging going to varlog werewolf d like they used to. So you used to be able to go here, right, and you would just get whatever the logs were in real time, and you would see things happen. They don't have that anymore. I don't see where they're putting it. Data maybe in user share. So they've moved, yeah, they moved all this stuff around. Yeah, so like in this newer werewolf, I don't even know, since I've updated this, I don't even know where all this crap is anymore. They have changed all of this stuff around. It all used to be in varlib werewolf, right? Varlib werewolf was everything. Is there? No. Nope. No, see, so they still have varlib werewolf for some of the stuff. But what I need is... No, they don't have... No, they don't have anything that I need. No. So Werewolf is actually owned by. So Werewolf as a product, as an open source product, is maintained by CIQ. CIQ are the same guys that run Rocky. So Rocky Linux is like, it's big, guys. Like as far as like getting deployments into like new government stuff. Like I've been telling you guys, I think I've done like 7 deployments into big government systems, like redeploy or new. With my company, with new like full Dell deployments of things. Dell's like the major partner that's getting the work, and then my company comes in and overlays and builds everything. And we have almost exclusively done. Well, we've definitely done Werewolf on everything, as the cluster maintenance and cluster manager. But then I would say on like 5 of those 7 clusters were directly Rocky. And probably 2 of them were RHEL because the customer already had RHEL licenses, so they stuck with RHEL. Yeah. So if anybody here that doesn't know me, right? If you don't know me, I work in the high performance compute space. That's what I do on supercomputers, right? Like in air quotes. But yeah, Red Hat's still kicking. Red Hat's huge. In fact, I'd still say they have like 90-something% of the market. But Rocky is coming in because when you have a support contract, you can use that, especially if you're a RHEL binary compatible type system. Yeah. So people, wondering about that. Yeah, no. Werewolf Under the Hood is, for me, I think 9.4. Yeah, I'm using 9.4 for everything. So he's downloading this. He's not going to be able to do his 2-stage boot or 2-stage boot or 1-stage boot. Both of them are busted right now. So this is kind of where I was getting stuck the other day, and then I kind of just walked away from it for a little bit. But I do need to get this back up before Saturday, because on Saturday we'll go into, let me show you guys what we're doing Saturday for people that are like, oh, I got here and it's the last day of the class. What's the final part of this course going to look like? Well, the very last week of this, we should be all the way on week, because we just did 15, right? So 15 was engineering troubleshooting, and 16, I really like 16. It's all about incident response, and you have 3 different problem broken environments, and in those problem broken environments, I make you troubleshoot. So here's the recording of what we were doing, and that's the recording if anybody wants to go do the course. But then in the lab, it's like you connect to the different types of scenarios, and you have to fix things, and it looks like the guys gave you some hints, and then you have to fix some things in here where like the space partition was busted. So there's some different partitions that are busted, and then the last one makes you try to figure out why you can't update stuff. So those are like some troubleshooting labs. This is why I need to get the environment back working, so that we can get the because I gotta align what we're doing on Saturday with what we already did in the last version of the course. And this is one of the things I was saying is kind of a hassle. Is like if I have to maintain everything in the labs all the time, it gets to be kind of a hassle. Yeah, this is gonna download. This is way longer than a boot normally takes, by the way, too. So that's interesting. Containers have been moved over to images, so that's something that I need to remember. Right, because container is no longer used. Now they use all images or whatever. Yeah, bingo bango. That's definitely DNS in a lot of things. So, that course is called the Linux sysadmin course. This is the free. So for people that don't know, we have 2 free books out there in the world. This is the one for people that need it. The question popped up over on YouTube. Boom, there you go. So that's the course that the guys put together from the original stuff. And you could actually go print right here, and you guys could have this in one long format and just print it to a PDF if you wanted it, and it would have everything there for people that wanted it. But then also for people that like doing it on the web, here it is all on the web. And again, Socratic's at the end. Here's downloads. I've got a bunch of, here's all the downloads if you wanted the original PDFs and text sheets and all the stuff that I had originally given out. There you go. Boom. There you go. Yeah. That book's free, and then the PSC book. This is the security course. So people that want the security course, that one's right here. Nice. Yeah, that's the security book. And again, the community put them together, right? I just built the courses, and then we did them live, and then the guys went through and grabbed everything. There's actually a group you guys could be involved in if you wanted to participate. I think both of the books are mostly done, but if they are still working on it, they do have space for more contributors. So they haven't even put in the contributors for this one yet. Maybe they've got them all in here. I'm not sure. Yeah, so people that were writing and organizing and that kind of stuff, they put their names in there, because that's just one more thing to show somebody. If somebody's like, well, how do I know you know Linux? And they're like, well, I participated in this, I helped build the material for it, I understand these components, and I can talk to any of them. And then if somebody's like, well, what's, I would hope anybody here that's done the work, somebody could come in and go, well, what do you know about Linux networking? Well, let me tell you about, some of the things we did. We troubleshot Linux networking. We set it up and we looked at it, how it works correctly. I know the tools that I would use to check a server out to make sure that it was good on reboot. If there was a problem with a server, I could drill down into where I thought the problem was. These are all the things that I would, these are the things that would, again, these are the things I would put on a resume. Not just I took some Linux course from some asshole named Scott on the internet. Nobody cares about that. But I do know how to analyze and troubleshoot NFS Samba file shares. I've done that many times. This guy that you don't know on the internet, he made me do that, right? I don't even think we did that much. But the point is, we touched all of these things. We'd touch, and then you would go put them on the resume. Anyways, my point is, yeah, I would hope if somebody was like, well, what do you know about a firewall? Well, I can turn it on. I can tell you what it's blocking. If we have connectivity problems, I can exonerate the firewall as being the problem. I can turn the firewall off and test without it there, so I can get the problem working and then turn the firewall back on and see, right? Like these things are things that we use for troubleshooting, right? So, guys know what the folks need. Yeah. I think these are. I tried to just focus this stuff on the skills that I thought you guys needed. Now, a lot of people ask, like, hey, what do I need to know to do the Linux admin course? I think anybody could do the Linux admin course. But I also think, like, if you're like, Scott, I don't do any Linux right now, I need to get into Linux, I would tell you go get on Killer Coda, which is like the best free site on the web, and go find something like here, like here's all my labs, the labs that we do through the Professional Linux Users Group, and this is the labs that we have. So you can go into the Linux labs. There's 36 of them, and they will walk you through Linux, checking kernel packages, disk and mount points, IP and networking information. Like these will walk you through in a free environment. So, Hayes, you said your job was 100% point and click. That's pretty funny. Then we get down into, so we start out with just looking around. Then we get you into some building things. So there's some configurations and building, and then there's a lot of security. So Linux security, and they're named appropriately for what you're doing. And then down at the end, we do some troubleshooting at the end. So that's all stuff that's free up on the web, right? Like I think a lot of this stuff you guys just need to get in there and spend time with this stuff, and I think you guys can learn. All right, so let's see. I have done everything on all, like I've been through all of this, right? Like, and it's funny because when I first set this up, there was a lot of stuff I had to do in here. I've redone the Dracut image because there's like a 2-stage boot. I've done all this stuff, and these just will not boot anymore. I even think this is an old, where's iPixie? See, now it's back to default because I set it back to default. But I could also set it back here, right? So I can do node set for Rocky 12 with the iPixie. I've done all this, but just believe I've done all this shit. Here it is superseded with Dracut, like it says over there. And then we do WCTL overlay build for Rocky 12 because the overlay needs to be redeployed and rebuilt. And then we come here. I can turn this dark mode, by the way. I know somebody's going to ask. That's too bright. All right. There you go. Boom. Dark mode. Where is my, but then it's bright again. Let's rebuild. Let's see. He's still he's not gonna boot. He's still downloading that, but that's taking longer. It's on the old Rocky lab. Let's see. It's probably not going to. So Hayes, if you've never met Jared comes and talks to the group every now and then. He'll be here on, I think, August 10th, whatever that Saturday, whatever the Sunday is. He's going to come talk to you guys. And he actually has a presentation called, he's a JavaScript copy paste expert. But what you're paying him for is what to copy and what to paste. And he's said that his whole career. He's like a data architect for a pretty good sized company. He does the talks. Some of you guys have heard him talk about yeah, see, this is not hold on. It's back to busted. Superseded that. I'll give him another shot here. No, that should have booted. Anyways, but yeah, Jared comes and talks about that, and then he works for a pretty big company. He does all the tracking cookies. He does Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics and all that stuff for web pages and stuff. But he calls himself a Java copy and paste expert. So yeah. 20G. Well, you're welcome to hang out down there. Let's see. Why is this not? Let's see here. That should have booted. It's got the right. You'll notice the Mac is the same. And now I wonder. Hold on. There's something. I've changed one of these other things back. Hold on. There's something that's changed here. That's the other one. So I think I need to add this back. But I need to set it because I got rid of it. And then overlay our build and then restart. Yeah. Because then it'll do, yeah. So it's back to track cut here. It needs that tag menu entry to be able to start. And then grub entry. Yeah. Oh wait, that's the iPixie one. Hold on. I did the wrong. Yeah, I did the wrong one. We need to add this one. That was me undeffing it before. Build the overlay. Yeah, here we go. And now, yeah, should work, I hope. I hope so. I'm just gonna call you Commander because I have no idea how to say that. But thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I don't know why all that crap's going across the screen. That's some weird Twitch thing where it keeps making like the next 3 people that follow you, it like does some stupid thing. I don't know why it does that. Let's see if this boots. Now I can get it to boot. I can actually get the whole system to start, but then it crashes on not being able to switch back to tempfs. Right, so it's trying to run tempfs, but it's RAM. Yeah, so we're trying to run in tempfs. That's where we want to run because the file. Oh, I wonder if it's too big. Hold on. I wonder if that's why it's crashing. Because I don't have the kernel. Hold on. Werewolf. Let's grep for tempfs from everything. So that's the original conf where I had that, but I had no kernel. So I used to have this in my older version of this. I had, I don't see it there. Nope, see, it's not coming up. But this is much different. I've been through all this. I can get past all this. The problem is further along. I had just reset everything back. Track cut's fine. I can make all that stuff work. Yeah, that's part of the problem. But anyways, that's where I'm at in the home lab. So that's where I'm kind of going with that. Commander, in my system, I'm a systems engineer. I do administration work if I need to, sure. But I've been an engineer for 20 years. But I think you never get away from admin stuff. Like, you're always going to have to fix things in some way. So, yeah. I try to teach people admin stuff because that's how you get in the industry. But, no, I've been a systems engineer for a long time. So, hopefully that answers that question for you. Yeah, this is just... What do I have set for these? So these are all the defaults, right? I never had those changed before. Let's turn the grub back off. False. Restart that real quick and make sure that we still have those all look right. What am I missing here? What are we asking here? Let's see if we can get this to boot. But yeah, I definitely play one on TV. On TV is trying to keep my home lab running. Most of my environment is just deployed systems underneath. Like, all the Rocky and all the Hammer nodes are just deployed systems under there. All these other systems are just doing whatever they're doing, kind of off on their own. The Werewolf environment is in its own individual VLAN, and to communicate with the other VLANs in my environment, all that traffic needs to go through the C router device. So the C router needs to be up, or those are completely isolated off the network. So if anybody's wondering on that, let's go back to Rocky 12. Where's Rocky 12 at? He is still busted. So yeah, I'll have to. Rocky 9 lab 10 Feb 25. That's when I originally built this lab out. Init is technically different as well. If I'm going to, I don't have that. I've done all that. That's all fine. Built that inside the container. Where is my 1511? There we go. All right, so in here, right? Now we're in a chroot environment to that, but we're in the container that's being run. So let's look for. All right, we do have werewolf in here. However, that is the old one, so it's possible that I need to put the new one. I don't think that would be needed, but I guess we can also try to. Let's try this. Let's exit out. Should have done false, because if you do false, then the image won't rebuild because we didn't change anything in it. So it's like, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Reading messages. All right. I gotta go check for the newer package for that werewolf, and then we might be going down in the image and modifying that. So let's give it a second here. A longer build than it should. That's why we should have done false. There was no real reason to rebuild that image right there. Come on. Come on. Way longer than it needs to be. All right. CD to root. That's the old one. Where's the new? That's the new one. I don't think I have the new trackhead image for that. Which you can't just DNF install it. It doesn't work. They don't have. You would have to have their repos set, and you have to have keys for their repos. So that's like a paid for service to get this, unless you pull it directly out of the GitHub. So I might need the new one. Let's see, where will I Pixie? So it's going to do all of these pieces, and it's not looking for, in the two-stage trackbit, it's saying the init RD is init RAM FS, but I need that to be temp FS So it's actually interesting that that's hard coded now, because I need that to be tempfs. So that may be where I change it right there. So just so you guys can see, I never touch anything unless I make an original copy of it. But we're gonna change that over. But before we can do that, we need to get it to boot to the two-stage tracket. So we've taken we're like 4 steps back from where I was the other day. I don't remember. I was reverting everything back to the way I had it. So now I got to go in here and modify this, and then I need to get it back to booting. So node list -a Rocky 12, and then I also need to change. I don't know why it doesn't have it right in here. We definitely have that. The grub menu, the iPixie one's the old way, I think. So the grub one is right. And then we're definitely configured for the right node, because we're seeing. He's not seeing werewolf anymore. Why is he not? There's werewolf. Firewall's not on for now for testing. He's got. So he's got DHCP, and this is 69 is TFTP, right? So those are on. But why is he not even pulling down his image at all anymore? Like he should be seeing that he's Rocky right here. Why is he not? We're gonna take away the iPixie one, because we've got the other settings. So where is it at? We're gonna set unset. Should be set. Fuck it. Should be set, and then we can just set it undef. So when you undef it, it removes it and sets it back to default. So that's like a weird thing. Werewolves carried that forward for a long time. If something's set and you want it to be unset, so right here, the init, the iPixie I had set to Dracut, and that was causing problems. So I pulled that out, and I'm just going to let it be from here that it's going to get it. This one I can also get rid of the iPixie menu entry, because I don't think that one does anything, because I don't think that's a tag anymore. But one of the things about any of these automation tools is they'll let you set any number of tags you want, even if you're never going to use it. Even if you're never going to... Oh, you know what? I really should... Yeah, well, we'll do that later. WCTL overlay build Rocky 12. We could overlay build all the overlays, but I'm not going to do that right now. Yeah. Yeah. It's basically like hitting the config over the head until it forgets. That's what it is, Hayes. Let's unboot. Let's see. We need to see if he gets back. He's not doing DHCP, and he's not coming up and pulling from TFTP right now. So he's not doing any of the things he's supposed to be doing, even though they're all on. So now he's at least figuring out who he is. You see? Now he's at least pulling the right image again, which is the Rocky 9 Lab 10. Don't worry about my naming. My naming's terrible. But now it should give me an option, but I'm just going to let it go, because it should be two-stage Dracut. That's what we want. But we just saw that the two-stage Dracut is hard-coded to be init RAM FS, which is not what we're running with. So if we fix that one line, we should be good. I hope. Yeah, you get the little warning. Watch right here. Doesn't know how to handle wwinit tempfs, and it's going to halt. So let's go see. That is coming from let's grab 4 from all of these. Now we're back to that again. So here's the root, and I'm trying to use tempfs, and it's dropping tempfs in there. So let's unset that root. It's gonna be the same thing. No. Maybe it's just root. Where does the root send? It sends it back to init ramfs. That's not. It's not gonna. Well, let's see. Screw it. This is the same thing as before, but let's see. Let's see if we can get a little closer. Also, we have a different image to use. And images can have different things in them. So I've built the other image with a brand new version of Rocky. I think it's, what is it, 9.6 or something like that. It's a brand new image of Rocky. So I'm trying that one as well, but not right now. That one's just called Rocky Linux 9 Lab New. So I can switch it to that and try that one as well. But I was getting them both to fail at the same point, which was further than this, by the way. All right, so he's gonna get his little kernel. He's gonna see his Dracket 2 stage. That should happen. Should download his image pretty quick. Always boot through the first stage. Oh, we might have to change. I might be able to. I can get past this. Hold on. Kernel args in it. Yep. Send out the overlay again. Give it the old college try. Get it to boot. Again, it's booting. It's just not starting. Oh. And I've been past all this. I had been reverting it. What's going to happen, though, is it's going to come up to a spot where it's going to, with all systems, right, when they boot their kernel and their init ramfs, they start up, and then at some point, when they're all done starting up all the things, they switch over to what their actual root's going to be. This is normally a kernel argument, and you say, hey, the slash for home is going to be found on this partition, and then the system mounts that partition, and then that becomes the read-write partition for like the root of the file system and all that stuff. That has been failing on this, and it goes to a shutdown state. If I can get back to there, that problem has to do with when it hands off. So here it is right here. So it's going to get up, and it's going to find that it can't start. Now, what I thought was happening here, yeah, right here, because it can't, I think what's happening, yeah, it's remounting slash, but as a read-only file system. I think it doesn't have enough memory. And I think that because this is a bigger version of the image. And tempfs, right, when you start with tempfs, you have to have, there's configurable parameters for at the kernel. So what I had before, and I was just looking for it, a kernel argument to allow it to be twice as big as the 4 gig, because there's 4 gigs of RAM on these boxes. Is that right? Yeah, I think they're 4 gigs. Yeah, but I was letting it pretend that it was 8 gigs. And then that was allowing it to start up. So I need to go figure out how to do that. I think I dropped that up in the Discord at some point. Let's go look. Let's come over here and do like Let's see if I have anything with TempFS here. Doesn't look like TempFS. Was that somebody on the? That's somebody in their own box. Nope. I definitely did not put it up there because it's a kernel command line argument. So I just gotta find what it is. It's like TempFS home equals 8 gigs or something like that. But I gotta go find what it is, and then I would give it right here in my kernel command arguments, right? So then when the system boots up, it knows, hey, I don't have enough RAM to mount this. I don't have to panic like this and shut down. I can go ahead and start, because that's what it looks like to me is happening. This is the furthest I've been, basically. We're back to where I was the other day when I was troubleshooting it. So that's really where I need to get to with it. So, okay. Guys, I'm probably not going to get that finished tonight. We might work a little bit more on that tomorrow. If you guys have been around, on Fridays, we just kind of hang out, talk shop, talk about getting in the field. Sometimes we just troubleshoot people's resumes and stuff like that. So we'll be working on that stuff tomorrow. We've got a bunch of events this weekend. Next weekend, if you guys are going to be around, like August, what is it, like 8th, 9th, 10th, in that weekend, we're going to have a lot of free activities and a lot of guest speakers coming in and talking. People from all over the industry. I have people with 20 years experience. I have people with, we've got at least, let me think. We have at least 3 people that are in FANG, or I guess what people would call MANG, M-A-A-N-G, whatever that is now. We have at least 2 military people coming to talk, people that are doing, the one guy does red teaming for the Space Force. So that's something to come and do. So you guys are welcome to do that. Everything we do around there is free. There's one thing that I have up on LeanPub that you guys can buy, but I don't tell anybody they have to do that. And you have to go find that. I don't like show that all over all the time, but you guys are definitely around there. Hazy said a while back you generated a 12-week DevOps course. Nice. I also have stuff like even what's behind the screen here. Like for some of you guys that wonder how I do this, it's all like in PowerPoint, right? But I have like my old CKA prep stuff. So when I got my CKA, what did I use? How did I go through all of it? So this is all up in the Discord too. Like there's nothing out here that you guys couldn't go find. This just shows you how to go practice. It gives you like hands-on practice for everything. So this is up in the Discord. It's under presentations. It's called CKA Prep. I updated it in May of last year, but it was originally earlier. Because I think I've had my CKA for almost 5 years, or almost 3 years now. So I think I got to go redo it. Or maybe it's, did I get in, I think I got it in 23, so I think I have one more year on my CKA and my CKAD, but I don't know. I just did them for the challenge of them, right? But this is all there if you guys want to go work through that, right? All the stuff you need to do to pass those certs. Those ones are good for the resume too. Those ones are a little more pricey. I think they're about $375 for the test, but you get a free retest, so that's kind of cool. All right, what we're gonna do on the YouTube side, we'll just end. But I appreciate you guys all coming. I will see you